How hard should you train if you want to maximize progress in general strength and calisthenic skills? Should you go to failure in every workout or never reach it in the first place? Overtraining and undertraining can both potentially cause your progress to stall at some point. So, what is the right way? I used to think that as long as you're training to failure, nothing else matters. Of course, you should eat, sleep, and have a rest day afterwards, but everything should be fine. This is where the mistake was. By constantly training 3 to 5 times a week to failure with 0 reps in reserve, which means you cannot do any more reps with a normal form, you are destroying your muscles beyond repair. This might seem obvious, but having rest days may give you this illusion that you are recovering, however, the progress doesn't happen. More on that in a bit. By the way, if you want a custom plan to achieve new PRs in pull-ups, dips, and static skills, you can check out the link below. Now, I'm aware that this is a rather niche problem, so this video is not for everyone. Some people should train harder and increase the training volume, and some shouldn't. But if you are in this position where you are overtraining and not allowing your muscles to grow, you will benefit greatly by applying tactics I'll give you. First of all, don't get me wrong. You should train to failure, just not all the time. Most of your working sets should be done with about 1 rep in reserve, meaning you stop before your max effort. But every once in a while, you could have sets to failure as well as lighter sets with 50 to 60% of your max. This is very important. Light workouts actually helped me a lot and allowed for much more progress in calisthenics and static skills specifically. Here are just a few benefits. They don't overload your central nervous system, you recover fast, and you don't damage your muscles. They are especially useful if you're training static skills like front lever or planche. If you want those skills, what you need is a good mind-muscle connection, which requires a lot of practice. Not heavy lifting, but hours of light training, skill work, and progressions. This way you don't break down your muscles too much and recover faster. Which brings me to the next point. We all know a well-established principle in strength training, which is that muscle growth occurs when you break down muscle tissue through resistance exercise and then rebuild it stronger during recovery. What most people don't know is that this rebuilding process is controlled by the dynamic balance between muscle protein synthesis and muscle protein breakdown. MPS is the process where your body builds new muscle proteins. You stimulate it primarily through resistance training and eating high-quality protein. MPB, on the other hand, is the breakdown of existing proteins, sometimes damaged, sometimes just being recycled. While it might sound like a bad thing, MPB is essential for removing old or damaged proteins so that your muscles can remodel and rebuild. Growth happens when MPS consistently exceeds MPB over time. That is your net anabolic state, where muscle tissue is being added, not lost. Keep the MPS high and the MPB low. Now, training, especially hard resistance training, stimulates both. A tough session spikes MPS for up to 24 to 48 hours, depending on the muscle group, the volume, and how close you got to failure. But that same session also increases MPB, mostly due to mechanical damage. The key is that MPS increases more than MPB if you eat and recover properly after training. However, if the MPB gets higher and equal to the MPS, then there's little to no progress. So, what stimulates MPB? Several things like training to failure, high volume sessions, low protein intake, elevated cortisol, poor sleep, even extended rest periods from training. MPB naturally rises when your body is under stress or short on resources, and that's not always a bad thing. Some level of breakdown is required to clear out damaged fibers so stronger ones can take their place, but if MPB stays high, like during extreme dieting, overtraining, or poor recovery, it can blunt your progress. That's what happens when you go to failure in every set in every workout and don't recover fast enough. So for most people, their regular working sets should take most of the workout, and sets to failure should take 20 to 30% of your working sets per week. For example, reserving true failure for the last set of an exercise. Why choose this strategy? Because training close to failure within 1 or 2 reps already stimulates near maximal motor unit recruitment and muscle protein synthesis. Going all the way to 0 reps adds very little extra stimulus, but a lot more fatigue, both muscular and neural. By saving failure for just the last set, you get the stimulus without compromising performance on earlier sets or the rest of your workout. It's also safer and keeps the recovery manageable. Now that we have this sorted out, there's still a high chance that after some time of consistent training like this, you'll hit a plateau. That's when you can do another thing to maximize the progress, and that is doing a deload week. The most simple strategy is having one deload week per month. Of course, it all depends on your goals, your training plan, and many other things. But this is the average practice. During this week, you can drop the intensity or volume by 50%. For example, doing 2 times less pull-ups than you normally do, or decrease the weight if you're doing weighted pull-ups by half. Same with the other exercises. By the end of it, you will be recovered and ready for your regular hard training. At the end of the day, making progress and getting stronger is just a matter of following the rules. If you train hard enough but don't overtrain, count calories, and eat the right way, use deload weeks, sleep, manage stress, stay consistent and patient, you will inevitably succeed. Failure is impossible unless you don't try, in which case you'll have to put up with the fact that you could have reached your goals but decided not to, and that is not a good feeling. If you want to get seriously strong and achieve new PRs in pull-ups, dips, and static skills, I offer coaching and a custom plan that will get you to your goals if you stick to it. The link is below, and keep training hard.